Hi everyone, welcome to the third episode of our Sweet Blossom Coffee podcast. My name is Minnie and I'm the brand strategist and also a barista working at Sweet Blossom Coffee. So yeah, today we'll be having a conversation with the founder of Sweet Blossom, who is also a roaster, a barista, and also a father of two. So let's welcome Yee Siang.
Hi, so I'm Yee Siang, and I start Sweet Blossom Coffee Roasters. So,
Yes.
So we can go through our
interview questions. All right. So how are you feeling? Before we start, how are you feeling today?
coffee.
Yeah.
Quite excited for this interview.
Okay.
Yeah.
It has been, I think, around 1 year before you have the interview with the JB City guy, the video that you have, right? So yeah, almost a year ago. Yeah. All right. Cool. So I think we can let the audience to know more about you. So you can share with us who are you, and where are you from? Maybe a simple intro that can let us know more about you a little bit.
So I from Penang. At around 18 years old, I started working in F&B.
18. Wow, so many years ago.
18. and then after 1.5 years, I moved to KL, which to seek more of the coffee, like different coffee shop at that time, and work in KL for another 2 years, 1.5 to 2 years, I think, forget. Then come to Southern to start my own business here.
All right, interesting. So before we dive deep into your career in coffee, so just a quick question to know you more on the personal part. So what do you think is the biggest difference before and having a family?
Yeah. Is time. So we need to spend more time especially for kids. So for example, like before having kids, I can always continue to find answer, like how to brew coffee or how to troubleshooting a machine or espresso, everything. I can do until midnight or the next morning and just continue work directly without sleep or just sleep for 5 to 15 minutes. So,
Semangat.
So, but now is, of course, we need to get kids sleep on 8 o'clock nighttime. I'm a person who just do whatever I want. Like from now, I want to do this thing. I just focus
More
do
spontaneous.
and just until it's done. But now need to plan earlier, slightly earlier. In fact, I not always plan until now, but need to plan earlier and get everything done. Like spend more time to our kids, and at the same time, manage to do more research, like continually do what I want at the same time. So
routine is the biggest change, I think. Cool. So maybe you can tell us more about your coffee shop, the Sweet Blossom, and how did it all started? Because you mentioned you worked in KL previously, and eventually you come down to the South region and to start your own business, right? So how did it all started?
At that time, just want to find a place that serve good coffee. I can continue make coffee every day, so I don't get lost on the track. So I can continue sharpen my skill and everything. And at the same time, this should be a coffee shop that can keep growing and serving high quality coffee. I think around 2014, I can't really find this kind of shop, even
in the whole Malaysia.
Yes. So I end up starting thinking, why not I just start my own and just have a try and see how it's work. So we start a small pop-up shop at an art gallery. So it's called Art 52 Gallery. And also because we having a pop-up there at the second floor of the gallery, so we name it Art 52 Gallery.
It's also in Johor Bahru, right?
It's a downtown area, so quite nearby here. At that time, we're still thinking, is it really consumer can taste the difference with serving such a high quality single origin espresso and filter coffee. But the result was fantastic, I think. So even the consumer, they don't know how to difference latte or cappuccino, but they already can taste the difference from others. So it's keep me motivate and keep moving. So my idea is work actually, because that time everyone's serving a blend or very dark roast coffee, and even the barista itself, they like the roast or single origin coffee that really everyone dare not to serve as a daily consume to customer, because maybe too high acidity or what. But for me, whatever my customers say is bad means I'm not doing the right path. I'm not doing the correct things. That's why they don't like. That's why they don't understand. So yeah, at that time we grow quite fast, and we have huge base of regular customer, and we realize the spot we choose is slightly not very good for what we want to do. Not so strategic. Yes. So because there is a tourist space, there's no parking lots or very far from it, and very limited seating because the town only is just a very tiny space. Only can squeeze in maximum to 13 people. 13 people is everyone touching each other. They have to pass their coffee to the next one.
Oh, okay.
So we realized this is a problem, and our regular customer calling us and saying, "Can you make me one takeaway coffee because I cannot find parking?" So that's a reason why we want to choose a new space, which is more close to town, but have parking lots. It's best to have good food surrounding, and also with a bigger space so I can fit in more customer. And we start the Sweet Blossom here at 2015, I think.
I never been to the previous shop. Just have a look outside back then, and it's already closed, right? But it's empty now.
Yeah, it's empty now. Even Art Gallery is closed down now.
Yeah,
it's quite a long time ago. So.
Cool. So when you were back in the shop, the Art 55, 25.
52.
The Art 52. Sorry for that. Do you use your own beans? Like you roast your own beans or not yet?
Not yet. I start roasting that time, like end of November of 2014. I think I start roasting, but we still serving coffee from Nylon Coffee Roaster Singapore.
I see. So do you still remember the first time you roast your own coffee? Like how was it? Does it go as what you think it would be, or?
Because that time I use a very old machines that time, so
not the small one.
The small one. The small one. So yeah, basically for the first few batches, it just test out the roaster. But if you say the first roast is able to try for sensory still remember no matter how we roast, the taste similar to different origins and taste bad. Because during practice we use older crops coffee, not so old, but maybe 1 year coffee. So yeah, and it's get everything very easy on track. Like I can put in my imagination to roaster and come out the result, and I just learn from that and fine tune from that. But taste no good. Taste totally no good. So
any reason you decided to start roasting your own coffee? Is it in your plan, like when you decided you want to start your own coffee shop?
Yes, at first I decide want to start my own coffee shop, or I can say during I work in Penang, I already think if I want to start my coffee shop, I want to put coffee as my lifetime career. I need to learn how to roast, so I can control my cost, and so I can play more with it. on the pricing and everything from that. Means that I can have a bigger range to buy higher price coffee, but I can serve in daily consume. So at that time, I'm thinking that time. So then 2014, I start thinking want to roast it because of the cost, and I want to learn about roasting, and also I want to see how much I can maximize each potential of the green coffee, and just make it into my style and the things I want, the things I prefer, the roast level and roast style. So I can understand more. At the same time, I can serve what I want.
So I think I heard from some of the people who work in coffee industry, they also share if you were to choose to getting into roasting, you also find you would point back a lot of problems that from the cup of coffee back to the roasting part and all, right? So is it the same for you before and after you started roasting?
Do you mean like people who know roast coffee at all?
They will say, okay, maybe I brew it bad. So they wouldn't think much of the problem coming from the roasting part. But after you start roasting, you will start to
Yeah. Yes, it's a very deep track, we say. Once you touch into roasting, especially for me, you have to really separate out. If not, you will just point out whatever, no matter what method you use to brew coffee, you will just think, this is because of roasting, this is because of roasting, and end up you will kind of slow down your brewing skills. So I think it's quite important to make it clear, or you really master your brewing first, then you go to the next part, or roasting, or you can start roasting first for sure. But best to learn how to brew first, then roast.
I see. Cool. So I think people also usually says that if you turn something that you like or your hobby into a lifetime career, you will find it miserable, or you'll find I no longer enjoy this anymore. Like, is it the same for you? Like, you kind of find you don't find excitement every time when you work, or it's a different story for you?
I think it's quite probably a no for this answer. Because since 2011, I think I work in F&B and start.
Wow, 10 years and more. Yeah.
So I'm really excited to brew one espresso for me every day. And even I work in KL also, quite excited to wake up earlier every morning to taste different coffee from different origin, or test out different brewing methods. But until now, I still have the same feeling. I want more. I want to involve in even roasting or farming. So I think
still a lot for you to explore.
Yeah. So I never get bored on this.
I see. Nice. So running your own business for 8 years already, right? Since 2014 until now. What do you think is the biggest learning you have throughout this journey in coffee industry?
That's the biggest challenge.
The biggest learning?
Learning?
Yeah, the things that you learn.
Of course, I improve on my skills and knowledge from time to time in coffee, yes. But other than this, I think I learned how to speak. I learned how to share my concept and ideas from my very messy and complexity mind. So, yeah, if the person know me well, they will know I'm not a very talkative people. I'm not a very good at speech. Even I need a very long time to manage what I want to say.
To organize.
To organize and make it shorter. Before I speak. So I think during these years, I learned how to share my ideas to our shop customers, like how to explain to them from a messy theory behind the coffee story. I just think how to explain to them with a lifestyle of methods, more simply, easy understanding methods to explain to them what is this process, why is do, how can come out this flavor and everything. I learned how to speak up, compact and minimize, and make it more easier to understand. Even for sometimes we help to taste coffee for competitions. Even I help them to troubleshoot in a very short period of time with a very stressful and nervous situations. It's just because we cannot spend long time to talk to them. Their competition end already, so we need to compact our idea and speak up at time, direct to the point, and and even for sharing idea to my colleagues and so on. The previous time is quite difficult to tell like bunch of idea, but you don't wish to start first, or even after I told you, you don't understand all. So now I think it's more organized on this, and of course I hope it can be better because it can help me a lot to have a self-learning to improve myself.
Understand. Just now talk about the part of you in getting better in communication. So how about the things that you realize, maybe the things that you are not good at? So maybe coffee is the things that you found that you love, and you also find excitement doing it and improving it every day. But how about after starting your own business and things, what are the things that you dislike about doing? Do you have any?
There's quite a lot. I don't either like to talk also sometimes.
Lazy to talk.
So yes, after start our own business, because I love to make coffee, but I can't really do a lot of experiments at the same time, make a living, and keep the coffee fresh at home. If I only can able to do few cups, I can't finish coffee. I can't even roast. Or yes, so open a coffee shop is a good idea for me. Make some living at the same time. I can continue to learn and do what I love. But the thing is, I have to manage the business. If I have to think how to make more people to appreciate our coffee, how to sell more coffee without dropping the quality. And,
even if you don't like, but you have to do it lah. Means
sometimes I quite enjoy, but not always. So I start to need to understand more accounting parts, how to calculate costs, and how to do brand and marketing, how to appoint assign tasks to my helping hands, and there are quite a lot messy thing which take out my time for making coffee. So yes, but end up I think we doing quite good after 8 years. So
from working on the things that you like is already maybe something that people would struggle a lot, but for you it's a different case. And stepping into entrepreneurship or starting your own business is also another part of things to learn, right? Other than coffee. So have you thought of giving up? Maybe what are the things that keeps you going for 8 years?
So there is two questions. So
have you thought of giving up?
And what keep me?
What keeps you going for 8 years? Because I think pandemic is one of it that strike on a lot of people's businesses. But eventually you made it through, and now it's already the 8 years. So
since we start our business, we sell some food also here, and cakes and scones. And that time we thinking this could help us to bring more customers to drink coffee. But end up no. You might see a lot of case is customer walk in, order two of cakes, but with 4 people and only drink 1 cup of coffee. And end up they're not returning as a specialty coffee customer. So this is the reason why now we only serving coffee, because we keep more space for coffee drinker, for coffee people, for coffee friends. Sometimes they will meet each other and talk about coffee. End up they will drink 2 to 3 cups for each person. So this is quite ideally for what I want to do. What's the question again?
Have you thought of giving up?
Yes. During the COVID pandemic, I think everyone has a frustrated time. So do I. I just slightly delay. I continue to think how to sustain during this difficult time. But after 2.5 years of a COVID pandemic, I think everyone start recovering. But it's my time to frustrated. I start feel tired. Why I doing so much of thing, and I couldn't make a living. I couldn't pay rent. Yeah, for this moment, we really think to close down our shop, rest for 1-2 years, and we start again somewhere else. So, yeah, we're not giving up on making coffee, but maybe we need to stop the business that time. And so, what keep me going through this difficult time is when we share the idea, the thinking to our friends, say we want to close down because of this and that. So they just tell us, why don't you just try one more time? Why don't you just continue
Give it a
for
chance.
1 or 2 months? And they set a timeline and see how it's going. And even our landlord also, they say, why don't you just try another 6 months? If you live here, you just empty the space and you have no chance again. Yeah, thanks to our landlord to give a 6 months of thinking period. So she encouraged us to do another 6 months and see how. And this big changing during this 6 months until now. Yeah, luckily we're still here.
Yeah, luckily you are still here, so I'm still here having a job at Sweet Blossom. All right, I understand. Cool. So I think we'll zoom out a bit and talk more about the scenes that happens in specialty coffee industry. So I think there are a lot of changes happening in the recent years or even the past 10 years. There are a lot of innovations that's going on. So maybe you could share with us like what are the most significant innovation that you have witnessed throughout your journey?
Because it's quite a long time I'm making coffee. It's not long as like people who do coffee for 20-30 years, but I think I am in a golden period of a specialty coffee changing. So when I step in coffee industry, they are still very basic on traditional processing like nature, wash, and honey. And they all think how to make a coffee good with sorting more consistent coffee seeds, the coffee cherries, and consistent processing that time, maybe 2011 or 12, and more focus on how to roast and how to make an espresso that time, how to perfect skills. Then after 4 or 5 years from that period, start coming out is more to a variety like geisha. That time, geisha really tastes outstanding from traditional coffee. It tastes very lemon juice, lemon tea, floral, and light body, clean, and yes, huge difference, especially with the aroma and flavor. So
it's also the competition beans, right, that people use most of the time.
I think the geisha was winning the world competition for the continuity in different competition for 10 years or more.
So processing, from traditional processing to new variety, anything?
Then start involved into a heavier fermentation by yeast. So it means that the geisha has a new cover and even tastes more amazing from that. It's strong and heavy and easy to taste all the flavor. end up this thing turns into new variety. So from traditional processing to new variety, then go to a heavier fermentation processing, then become new variety. Discover a lot new variety on coffee in different country, and also new processing like the fermentation. Then coming these 3 to 4 years, start more popular in fruits infusion. So during the processing methods, they just put in fruit juice or other ingredients to infuse the coffee. So the coffee tastes very, of course it tastes, if you put mango, it tastes very mango. So this is quite innovative but very costly also. And also some extra additive to the coffee, like artificial flavor, put in the coffee, green coffee, and come out the coffee tastes very strong on the artificial flavor.
What do you think is the part that we should focus on more to ensure we will have a good supply of good grades of specialty coffee? Like, is it continue focusing, innovating more on the processing part, or any other aspect that we should actually focus on more? Is it the farming part?
So I think go back to the processing methods that we say just now. It's quite good to have a new and creative way to do new processing methods. But for my personal thinking, if their processing create flavor to cover up the original growing the species original flavor, the character is being covered by processing, then it's too much. Then there's no point we tasting 10 coffee, 9 having a very similar flavor from processing. No point tasting different origin. And yes, if we continue to do this, bad things is if everyone doing this, who else want to plant a higher quality coffee, which is contribute to the cup later? Everyone is doing processing and adding artificial or very strong fermentations, end up or cover up the original character of the coffee. So, but good thing is like the artificial coffee or fermentation coffee open up even wider markets for the coffee consumed, and not to say specialty coffee, because I personally don't think artificial infused is considered a specialty coffee because it's not contribute to the original farming status. So, but it's actually help on a lot of people grow their business and turns a lot milk tea drinker into coffee drinker.
Like we attract another category of consumer coming in.
And yes, this is kind of good things I feel. And yeah, of course you can buy the coffee you like as a consumer, but for people who will purchase coffee to roast, or I will buy coffee to drink, I personally think need to be transparent. I need to know what I buy. If you tell me it's a natural coffee without artificial, I should taste natural coffee without artificial. Just tell, because there's no right or wrong. If I enjoy the artificial flavor, then I just buy artificial coffee to drink.
Understand.
In fact, this is not supporting back to the farming, but this is the trend now. The market needs now.
I see.
And yeah, if we can continue to fine tune the artificial coffee, I'm not encouraging for sure. I'm not encouraging this, but the good thing is, if one day kind of, for example, kind of Ethiopia specialty coffee is already can't grow in Ethiopia anymore. It just disappear overnight. Then we can use artificial flavor to duplicate this kind of Ethiopia coffee to make as an education in classes or to share. This coffee used to taste like this.
I understand.
And it's very consistent all the time. So I think there's a lot good way if you're thinking the other side, but this is not supporting the on how to making even higher quality of farming. If everyone doing this, no one plant coffee, and end up we are just drinking artificial thing.
Yeah, understand. So I think eventually both people who are working in the industry or both people who are drinking the coffee have to receive the knowledge, have to be well educated, and yeah, it's not just through online, but also offline. How do we communicate this to our consumer, and how do we understand more and learn more about the part of farming, so that we can understand what's happening behind and do things that would contribute to sustainable way of farming instead of having more innovation. But yes, like what you say, it might go extinct one day. We don't know, right? So it can be a very important role to help on long-term education. I think that's a very good point on that. Interesting.
I think this is because I frontline barista role or roaster or else is our role to tell to build the trust with your customer. So during every day in the shop, we will tell our customer what is the, not to say right or wrong things, but how it happens, so they can make their decisions. And good thing is, after 1 to 2 years, everyone keep buying artificial coffee or non-transparency coffee, and they enjoy. After that, 1 to 2 years, they start coming back for our coffee. They start drinking because they start understanding. During time to time we tell, or maybe anyone else who's doing the same thing as with us, they start appreciate the fully washed coffee, or traditional natural process, or honey process, and so on. So it's a good since we see. So yeah, the future maybe not go into artificial world. From this?
Yes, it's like a U-turn for the specialty coffee consumer to come back and appreciate more the origins and the traditional way of processing them.
They start knowing why this happened and what they like.
They know better of their preference, but at the same time they also understand more like what behind on the coffee farming and part. Nice. All right, cool. So I think you kind of cover my next question, but it's okay. So we also touch a bit on the farming part, right? But I think we need another episode to talk about it. So we wouldn't dive deep into the farming part. But I think I also come across a few articles that mention how global warming or extreme weathers like frost happening in Brazil affect the coffee production, and eventually also part of the reason that contribute to the increase of the cost of green beans coffee in other regions because of lack of production. But demand is still the same, so the cost will go even higher when we want to buy green coffee beans and to each of the places that serve coffee, right? So as a roaster or as a business owner yourself working in this industry, what would be your next focus or next step that you wish to see yourself participating into? Is it continue to be more good in managing a business, or any other aspect that you wish to explore a bit more in the coming years?
We wish to find more coffee friends who appreciate our coffee. So as our volumes goes up, we can able to do more with what we want. For example, I can buy more direct farm coffee, so I be able to control the quality even more advanced. But right now, it's more to roasting and brewing and those equipment, skills and everything. But it can be more advanced if I have more quantity. So I can buy, for example, I can buy a coffee from Origins and fully control everything what I want, like how it's grow, what kind of variety, and how it's go through the process, and how it should pack, to have a higher consistency to ship to here. So I think this is the things I want to do coming next.
Which is the part before you source the green beans, right? Yeah, understand. Cool. So I think it comes to my last part of the interview already. So yeah, thanks a lot for sharing your journey with us. So we are celebrating our 8th anniversaries in the next month, right? So we'll be also
charity event.
An annual charity event on the 8th and the 9th of August. So whoever who come and grab a cup of coffee will get a special merchandise from us. And also we will donate the 2 days net sales to an organization called Seed for Progress. So it's a foundation that focuses on improve the access to higher education quality that is happening in the rural communities of Nicaragua's coffee growing regions. Yeah, so we kind of inspired a lot by the effort they do, and we also wish to have a better focus on the organization that we want to contribute back, which is on the education part. Yeah, so you can stay tuned on our Instagram. We have more contents also talking about the elements of good coffee. Yeah, so you can be excited for it. Yeah, all right. So last 5 questions to Yee Siang before we end our interview. Okay, the first one. What's the best coffee you have had in your coffee journey?
In coffee journey, I think can separate into few best. Of course, around 2011, the best I had is a coffee brew in Coffee Lane in Penang, and it was Colombia Geisha. As I say, it's very mind-blowing, clean lemon juice and jasmine perfumes light into the whole palette. So yeah, it's time. It's the best. Then I had espresso, which I don't remember where the roaster from, but it's definitely the best espresso I had in my life so far. It's from Brazil.
Okay.
And I think around 2012 or 13. But they just simply make because the Brazil is bought from world competition. I think that is not a champion. But it's the one who agree is the best espresso. And I agree also. You just simply, without calibration, put in the espresso grinder and pull out the shot. Then we taste, because we have quite limited of the beans. And it tastes very sweet, juiciness on the tongue, but not the kind of clear and clean juiciness. I mean, not the lightweight juiciness. It's very dense and sticky, heavy body with a lot of red apple juice, just like biting a fresh red apple, and the sweetness just stick on the tongue.
Can we get this coffee in our shop? So I can taste it.
We have a few in our shop similar to this, but when you say best at the moment, back to 2012 to 13, that is the best one, I think.
Okay.
But yes, after that, we also have so far in these 9 years, I think, from my own roasting, the best espresso I taste is from Brazil. This, if you can see, it's a Sitio Cacaia. So it's a red cactuai and natural process. Also tastes very layer and complexity. Very good in the sweetness. At the same time, remain the floral and red apple-like flavor and everything. So it's an advanced version from the one I taste, the previous from Brazil. But you can imagine it back to so many years before. It's already someone who did such a high quality of coffee at time. I think focus a lot on roasting skills.
So it's the top three best coffee in your life to Brazil. All right. So how about the worst coffee you have had? Do you still remember?
This will remember in my lifetime, because the worst coffee I had, I think, I think it's a coffee I roast it myself.
Okay.
Yeah, and not 1 cup or 2 cup. It's maybe 100 kg or 200 kg.
Wow.
That kind of roast, and I still need to taste every day
Oh.
because I'm practicing my roasting.
Mm.
Every time I think this should be the same for all the roaster. Every time the coffee come up from the roaster, say this should be the best one. And when you taste,
No, it's not the case.
and this is probably the worst coffee I taste in my life.
How many years back then? Like
2014.
2014.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So next one, who is your favorite coffee roasters? Maybe also top three? Can share?
Top three? There's no ranking for this because for what I'm thinking, the favorite coffee roasters should be have good consistent, at the same time remain the origin characteristic and produce a good balanced cup, like acidity, flavor, sweetness, and body after this. Achieve a good synergy and good consistency, also one of the key. Because if I want to buy coffee from the roaster, I cannot expect this time is good, then next time is bad, and kind of only one coffee tastes good, like Ethiopia, only Ethiopia tastes good, and the rest tastes bad. Then this will not be my list. But yeah, I think it's Macallan from Australia, Nylon Coffee, of course, our favorite always, and Team Venerable.
Team Venerable.
Yeah, they do quite a brave of changing from darker roast to lighter roast.
Oh.
And I actually buy the coffee back on their very long time ago.
So you tasted their dark roast coffee before as well?
Like they start changing into a light roast when I taste.
I see.
So I can taste even their inconsistent time period to a very consistent period, and very kind of highlight the acidity and sweetness. This is quite a big move. Of course, so far, of course, also the 2017. I'm not sure which is the year. Ghazali coffee. So Ruben's Ghazali is one of my favorite roaster, I think, because he tends to slightly different style from the three that I mentioned just now, but it tends to give a more strong body development and more heavier on highlighting the fermentation notes or the clarity. So for each origin, he play differently, and he play a lot of. He do a lot of different variety and different processing.
Okay, cool. So next one, if you can travel to any country to learn about coffee, where would it be? If you were to choose only one country.
Only one?
Yes.
Can consider Earth?
No,
it's a big country.
one country.
So I think, of course, I wish to go Ethiopia, Kenya. But
Ethiopia, or can I choose one?
But if only one, maybe it's Colombia.
Oh, okay.
Because they have go through a lot of formal research on coffee gene. So it's quite mature on coffee culture. But if you can choose only one, I think Colombia will be the place I can find most of the thing I want.
Yeah.
Like how to do a very high quality wash coffee, or how to produce a very consistent cup, and so on.
And also new varietal. Yeah. Okay, interesting. Last one, if you could only give one advice to whoever wants to step into specialty coffee industry, what would it be? Only one advice.
It's quite clear. Just trust and love what you do. Trust yourself and yeah, because until now, no one can say what is the best way to make a good coffee. So you have to trust yourself. Do your own experiment. You have to love your work so you can continue your passion and everything. To means that no one can stop you, and then you can find your own way after that. So if only one advice, yeah,
All right.
These will be the things. Huh?
Trust yourself and love what you do.
Mm.
Right? Interesting. Cool. So I think that will be the end for this episode of our podcast. So I hope you enjoy the conversation and see you next time. Bye bye.